Buenos dias, Andrew, and thank you for joining us today at Business Spotlight Series. Today, I am excited to introduce Andrew Alleway, Managing Director and co-founder of Tidy Green Clean. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Javier. It's nice to be here.
Now, Andrew, I'm very curious. You run a cleaning company in Aberdeen, and my first question is, was this what you wanted to do when you were at the school? Were you daydreaming about this business when you were at the school?
Possibly as far from where I thought my career would end up as you could ever get. This industry had no interest to me. It wasn't really where I have any passion that lies with it. But because of the way that I've spent my last 20 plus years in this industry, it's really more for me, there's a vehicle for our franchise business rather than a cleaning company. I don't see myself as a cleaning company, although that's what our end product is. I really see us as a franchise business, and my role is to mentor and grow the businesses within our group to make them successful businesses.
Brilliant. So it's now tell us a little bit about the franchise then. How long have you been running the business?
So we've been running this business since 2016. We have franchises across all of Scotland from Inverness to Glasgow. Our main concentration of business is in Aberdeen, which is where we were founded and started and where I'm based, where we've got three based here. Then we've got one in Dundee, one in Stirling, one in Glasgow, one in Edinburgh, and Inverness.
Okay, so that will be what, eight? So
8.
far? Okay, brilliant. And what's how long did it take you to set up the second franchise?
Probably about 4 years, 3 to 4 years. We just weren't even really marketing the franchises at that stage. We were running it as a traditional cleaning business. And then someone who we'd done some work for approached us and said, I understand you're looking to franchise. And then he came on board, and then his wife joined him a year later to run that franchise. And then a year after that, we signed our next two, and then we signed another one, and so on and so on. And our last one was signed in November 23.
Okay. And when you started the business, it was franchise from day one, or the franchise idea evolved after you set up the business?
The intent was to always franchise it from day one,
Okay,
100%.
very good. So you had that vision from the very beginning.
Yeah, well, it's what I did in New Zealand. So it's a model that I knew and understood, and I thought I could bring the practice from there into Scotland, where franchising is still in its infancy, in my
Yes,
opinion, compared
yes,
to the Southern Hemisphere and South Africa and the US.
yeah. Well, in its infancy compared to the US and Australia and New Zealand, definitely. Yes, yes. Okay. So when did you come over to Scotland?
Arrived here December 2014
Okay.
with my wife, who's from Aberdeen, and our
You
twins.
met her back home or
Yeah, she'd spent 10 years in New Zealand. So she went out on a working holiday and just didn't leave. And yeah, and our 18-month-old twins, so who are now almost 12. So yeah.
brilliant. Um, Coming to Scotland, so basically you came to Scotland because of her, or you okay, yeah, yeah. And okay, so you always wanted to have a franchise. Why cleaning?
I suppose cleaning is an essential service. Everyone requires it. Anyone with an office with, over maybe 10 staff require it. It's a relatively easy industry to recruit for. I have future visions on the franchise model to franchise it down another layer into turning the cleaners into self-employed business owners. But from that point of view, it's male, it's female, it's young, it's old. Like it's a kind of job that there is so much scope for people.
Yes. No, definitely. My brother, as I mentioned to you earlier, he runs a cleaning business, but he loves cleanliness. You know, you go to his house and everything's impeccable, no dust anywhere. He just loves the whole thing. So I can see, you know, it's making a business out of it. Great. So, I mean, I will have sort of a coffee franchise, you know, it's everybody drinks coffee, but that's, I guess, very competitive these days. I mean,
It
yeah,
is.
outside there are a few coffee shops next to each other, but yeah. Okay. When in the, so is this the first business that you've run, you've managed?
No, I've had multiple different businesses over the years, but I suppose I did a 10-year stint in the cleaning industry in New Zealand in the franchise sector and 10 years here. So this is the predominant, I guess, chunk of my working life.
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay. If I may ask, how many businesses have you run that didn't go well? An entrepreneur, the question behind is an
that's,
entrepreneur born or made? How many
I,
crashes do you need to run a
oh yeah,
successful
it's
business?
an interesting question. Like, I come from a pretty entrepreneurial family. My dad, his brothers, his sister, they all have their own businesses. My dad had a really large business in New Zealand pre-internet days where he delivered all the junk mail effectively. Um, that had thousands and thousands of staff. How many crashes have I had? At least three.
Yes.
You know, things that not to the point of bankruptcy, but to the point of this just really isn't working. I'm going to have to try a different
Yes.
tack on it, and I've invested in probably five more that haven't paid dividends over the years.
Yes. Yeah.
So
No, it's I myself ran a business in England maybe 15 years ago. I didn't see the end of it, so I closed it down. And you write it down to experience. So yeah, no,
you know
definitely.
what,
You learn a lot
they're,
from those.
yeah, they're expensive lessons sometimes, but you only make them once.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely. Brilliant. What is the Andrew, what is the toughest challenge that you had to face in your entrepreneurial journey, either in this business or the businesses?
I think coming to Scotland was probably one of my toughest challenges. Like, other than family, I knew nobody.
Mm,
I'd had 40 odd years in New Zealand where, I'd come up, lived in one city predominantly, had a really good network, had a really wide family network as well of people and contacts. And
yes.
you come here and you're like, oh, I don't know anyone.
Mm,
Like, I rented an office when I arrived and sat in it for 3 months without a job, just doing BD, trying to get work in 3 months. I sat there
that's tough. Yeah.
day in, day out on my own in an office because I obviously had young kids at home and I needed to be somewhere where I could, plan and think. But funnily enough, it was when I rented that office that my office and finance manager, Lisa, who works with me now, she was the centre manager there. So she's been with me 8 years now. So, you know,
Yes.
with positive, positive outcome.
Yeah. So you spent those 3 months. So what happened after those 3 months? What change did you make?
I joined BNI actually.
Okay.
And after kind of 4 or 6 weeks in there, I started to pick up some work slowly and didn't really have a workforce. So I was using agency labor at the time because I wasn't sure, how it was all going to look and pan out. And, I came here with the view that I was going to open a coffee business because coffee in New Zealand is such a big part of our culture. But then I realized I knew nothing about coffee. So I thought I'd stick to what I knew. But yeah, I had a few tense moments sitting there wondering, have I made a huge mistake leaving? Is this, you know, how's this all going to pan out? But, 10 years down the track, it's a different story.
Yes. Yes. So, well, what moment did you see, okay, this is gonna work? You started getting critical mass and things started to happen. W- w-
Probably about a year in, we won a large oil and gas contract, like over £300,000, which for us at the time was, doubling our turnover,
Mm.
if not trebling it at the point. And that was like that was a crunch moment for me. That was like, okay, we've now got, a decent pot of cash coming in every month. The business is now, starting to be able to pay myself, and then David joined around that time, my business partner, who's my brother-in-law. And we're very different skill sets. Dave's a decommissioning engineer. He's very detail focused, operational, loves spreadsheets. I'm the opposite guy. I'm the sales guy. I like the vision. I like, planning where we're going to be down the track.
Yes. Brilliant. Well, the book I sent you, Traction, talks about the visionary and the integrator. And by the sounds of it, your brother-in-law is the integrator. He's the guy who implements your vision. Yeah, you do the chaos. You open up new things, new ideas. It's chaos behind you, and he, puts everything
Yeah.
in its place.
He also sense checks it
He,
because
he also what?
sense checks it because some of my ideas are pretty, you know,
Correct.
left field.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's when the visionary and the integrator work as a duo, you get rocket fuel. And there's a book called Rocket Fuel based on the relationship of the visionary and the integrator. A great book as well. Well, talking about books, is there a book that you've read that had an impact on your life, or you really liked and you want to share?
Yeah, there's a couple of books. I'm a big rugby fan, being a Kiwi. So there's a book called The Art of Winning. The Dan Carter, who's probably, one of the most successful number 10s in the game. Um, Certainly, over the last 10 or 12 years. And so that just talks about how he gets, match ready. Like he'll go out and he'll say, I'm going to kick 100 balls today. And he will only kick 100. He won't kick 99. He won't kick 101. But everything has a plan. It's all, thought through. It's not, I'm just going to go and kick 5 balls and then I'm going to go back inside. This is how I'm going to do it. And the other book that I really enjoyed recently, I listened to it as an audible, was Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey,
Okay.
the actor. And it's his life story, but he narrates it. And it's quite a humorous listen, but also talks about, walking away from work and deciding what your path wants to be. If you don't want to be a rom-com actor, you want to get into, something more serious, then, how does this impact and change his trajectory?
Brilliant. Well, great two books. I'm gonna look them up. I haven't read those. I've read quite a few, but
I would definitely listen to Green Lights, not read it, because I think
okay.
his southern, you know, accent narrating it just brings it all together.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Now, when you won that big contract, what do you do that exact moment? Do you celebrate with a bottle behind you, or
Well, we did actually, but then we had the whole process of, okay, this is not just cleaning, this is cleaning and security. So we needed to get SIA licensed. We had to go through a whole lot of, things. We had to change our health and safety. We had to update everything that we did. So there was there was a huge amount of work in the background. But to win a contract like that for us that were a really small player in the market at that stage was a game changer.
Mhm. Right? So you won that contract. Then was that when you had how many franchises do you have when you won that?
Hero.
Zero. Okay,
So
brilliant.
that
That propelled, that proved the business model, really.
yeah, I knew that the business would be successful, and then it kind of David and I managed that contract in house. So we did audits, we went on site, we interviewed cleaners, we made sure that everything was right. We met with the client. So we did everything. So everything that the franchisees do in the business, we've done.
Mm.
You know, we've been out at 11 o'clock at night. We've been in buildings where cleaners have locked themselves out of a building. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
we've literally been everywhere and done everything. And between that and the 10 years I had previously,
Brilliant. Wow. Now, when COVID came, was that good for your business or not?
no, it
Because
wasn't.
I mean, everybody after cleanliness, everybody was cleaning everything twice over.
But everyone was working from home.
Yes, but wasn't your industry you were allowed to, work because of the nature of
We,
the beast?
we were, but other than our legal and oil and gas clients, everybody else sent their staff home.
Yeah.
So our revenue dropped about 90%.
But when people came back, it probably doubled
Have
in
they
terms
come
of,
back?
sorry?
Have they come back to work though? Has the landscape not changed now where work from home is, almost a given for people to get 1 or 2 days?
Yes.
So office space is reduced in size. It's been reconfigured. Yes, we did really well with the clients that we had
Deep
open.
cleans, cleaning more often.
Correct, all of that. And we also diversified into selling PPE because of our relationships with our suppliers. We could order sanitizer and face masks and everything else by the pallet, which then, we were able to supply our clients, which was fine.
Brilliant.
But we took a huge dip in revenue.
Yeah. Did you keep everybody on?
We did not make one redundancy. We kept every staff member furloughed that we had, which was about 300 staff at the time.
Wow.
And obviously, the legislation changed as well because originally Rishi Sunak had said that for every person you furlough, we'll give you £1,000.
Yes.
We thought we'd be getting, a nice big fat check come, when everybody went back to work. But instead, we paid the 10%, the 20%, the national insurance, the pension contributions for all of these staff. And then we got a tax bill for the furlough money on top of it.
Yes.
So yeah, like I'm glad we did it because everybody needs to pay their bills and live and everything else. And also, when people did return to work, we had a workforce that was still in place.
Yeah.
So if I had to do it again, would I change it? Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so you are through COVID. Um, where do you want to be 5 years from now? So you've got 5 franchises now. Where do you
8.
want to be 5 years from now?
So we've got 8 franchises now. Um, I think that we've got a lot of room that we can expand in the Central Belt, Glasgow, Edinburgh specifically. I think we can replicate the model that we have in Aberdeen by putting 3 or 4 franchisees in each territory, which will then, create work across the whole region. Where do I want to be in 5 years' time? 15 million turnover business. Perhaps go into England in a slightly different structure. Because the reason our business works really well is that David and I are very hands-on.
Yeah.
None of us are more than an hour from any of our franchisees. So if they need help with anything, we'll be there. Whereas, even Newcastle is 40% of my week because, it's 2 4-hour train journeys and a day to spend with people.
Yeah.
So am I better to invest in the people that we have here that are already running really successful businesses, or to divert my attention to, a maybe, maybe the region will run really well, maybe it won't, maybe we'll get the right person. So our view at the moment is to just stay within Scotland.
Yeah. Okay. And okay. So what do you do outside work? Before I ask the question, how many hours do you work a week?
A lot less than I used to, Javier. Um, I'm an early start, so I'm normally in the office like around 7:30. I tend to leave 3:34 because I've got, a young family. Um, I coach my son's rugby team, so that's 3 times a week. My daughter does gymnastics 3 times a week. And then I try and play golf when I can. Obviously, winter in Scotland's not the best place to play golf.
I'm playing tomorrow.
Yeah, but yeah, I enjoy getting out. I enjoy the golf course. I think it's a fantastic place to network as well.
Yes.
So, and then we've got a holiday home about an hour and a half north of Aberdeen, and so that's right on the beach. So we tend to go up there when time permits, and the kids can run free, and it's just a very safe little community.
Yes. I can see behind you, is that a rugby shirt?
It is. That's an old school All Black shirt dating back to probably late 80s. Oh no, mid 90s
Yes.
when they could still have beer sponsorship.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was given one, I don't know, 10 years ago when I went to New Zealand. The business partner gave me one, and I got him a bottle of whiskey. He gave me one of the
Win-win.
rugby top. Good swap, eh?
Good spot.
He drank the whiskey, and I still have the shirt, you know.
Yeah. So yours has some longevity.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. Now, what if you could spend a day in the life of, somebody you say, well, it would be so exciting to be with this person, either living or from the past. Who you go for?
Interesting question. I think I would want to go for someone who's incredibly entrepreneurial. Maybe someone like Peter Jones off Dragon's Den, who's got multiple investments across multiple businesses, who's done incredibly well. But just to get inside their head for a day to understand why they make the decisions they make,
Yeah,
which deals they pull out of, which deals they go into, which businesses have been successful, why have they been successful?
yeah,
And I'd hazard a guess that 99% of those businesses are successful because of people,
yeah,
not, like a product or a service is going to be replicated 100 times over within, one country,
yeah,
if not thousands of times. But it's
yes,
people that make a difference. And
yeah,
suppose that's where our business, we've really, really pushed culture. And so all of our new team members get issued a culture document that talks about what we do, why we do it. We have an open door policy for myself and Dave for any staff member, from whether they started yesterday or they've been with us for 8 or 9 years, to be able to speak. But because of that, we run at 92% staff retention. Like in this industry, it's unheard of. And we did, I think last month, I think we did 34 or 36,000 hours of cleaning. And our staff turn up every day because, we have the organization and the way that we work, that people want to work for us.
I call that culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's why Peter Drucker said his famous phrase, culture is strategy for breakfast every time.
Yeah.
You can have a great strategy, but if you haven't got the people, the culture, for
Yeah.
them to come and show up and walk the extra mile, and
Yeah.
then you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, it's very refreshing to hear it from you. Um, what's what advice? I mean, you've been in a number of businesses. Some of them went well, some of them didn't go so well, and now you are running a very successful business. Um, what would you what piece of advice would you give to somebody who wanted to start a business?
That you have to be prepared to blur your work and home life, because as an entrepreneur, I don't think there is a delineation. If it means that I have to walk out of the house at 10 o'clock at night or at 5 o'clock in the morning, so be it. And my family understand that.
Yes.
I have set specific times where I do stuff with the family, and that's non-negotiable if I've promised it.
Yes.
But the fact is that if I get a call at 10 o'clock at night, I'll pick up the phone and answer it.
Yes.
That's the way it is. And I think that's the thing. And that goes back to your question, are they made or are they born entrepreneurs?
Yeah. Do you
And
think everybody could be an entrepreneur?
no,
Why is that?
some people just aren't wired for it. They, it's, I think it's such a combination of, you're the finance person, you're the marketer, you're the visionary, you're the recruiter, So some people just can't put all of that. They're really good at what they do, but I don't think that it's for everybody. And it's also incredibly stressful. Risk, tax, paying everyone's wages. You're responsible for feeding,
Yeah.
for up 450 families.
Yes.
It's some people just don't want or aren't built for
Yeah.
taking that on.
Yes. Last week I was in Barcelona in a business school, and there were in the class 40 CEOs, MDs, and the subject was entrepreneurship. And the professor asked the question, can anybody be an entrepreneur? And most people disagree, but he said his opinion was yes. Now, my take on this is whether they can be or not, I don't know, but most people don't want to be an entrepreneur for the reasons you've given.
Yeah, and if it does work for them, it's something that they're incredibly passionate about.
Mm,
I'm passionate about my business, but I'm not passionate about cleaning.
yeah,
Not like your brother.
yeah,
It's a great industry, and I love what we do for our clients.
yes,
But I don't go home and grab my microfiber cloth and a mop and start. It's I'm not that passionate.
yes, 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 yes. Is your brother-in-law keen on the cleaning side?
Uh no, I think he's keen on the business side as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the
But
two of you
not,
are doing a great job. Yeah.
yeah, we're not keen on it. It
Yes,
obviously creates a great,
yes,
livelihood and living, and we've created some fantastic entrepreneurs, and some of our franchisees we took on when they were in their, mid to late 20s.
yes.
So, they're running fantastic businesses for people, who are tipping 30.
Mm. Remind me again, because that's a very interesting thing. You hear a lot, in the core focus, which this is actually mentioned in the book Traction, the core focus being what you are great at and you love doing. So if I put that in what you've just said, I'm going to put the industry aside, but, you are great at what you are doing and you love what you are doing.
100%
Mm.
to both.
The running the business, the setting up the franchises, yeah.
Yeah, I love people, and we're a people business.
Mm.
So, I like to, know everybody and, know them well,
You're very
especially,
personable.
yeah. And I think that's important. And,
Yes,
I see
very important.
cleaners walking in and out of the office every day. And, I always say hello and, know most of their, well, not anymore, but I know the ones that I see regularly, all their names. And,
Yes,
I think that's really important that, if they do a good job, I'll send them an email or, a message and recognize,
yes,
what's been done well and celebrate it.
yes. Brilliant. Well, just to wrap up, Andrew, what would you say to your 18-year-old self? What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
It's a very good question, Javier. I'm thinking back to when I was 18 and
Yes.
probably would have made a lot of different decisions back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say create some goals, look at what you want to do, make sure it's something that makes you happy, and then just stick your head down and give it your everything.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, Andrew, it's been a real pleasure having you on board with us at this episode of Business Spotlights. And thank you for sharing your experience, your journey, and being so candid about it. Thank you so much.
No worries, Javier. Thanks for your time as well. It's been lovely to chat.
Likewise. Adios, amigo.
Okay.